this is the latest update on my personal trading challenge. I set this up for myself because I think it's very difficult trading very small accounts, but there are a lot of people who have only small accounts of say $100. So I set a challenge for myself to trade $100 for 100 days to try to make 100%. And I really don't expect to be successful at that. It's a big ask. I'm sorry I'm a little late coming out with it this week. I've been a little busy. But to make up for that, I have something at the end of this video that might be interesting for you. Now, in this, I'm not trying to tell you that I'm a great trader, or I'm not showing you how to trade, or I'm not giving you any strategies. I'm just taking you on my journey through this. And I really believe that in very small accounts, there's a lot of trading psychology that takes place. Because if you only have $100, every little price movement means a lot to you. So the main reason I set the challenge for myself and set it to be quite difficult was so that I would try to trade that and create that sense of urgency and loss if I'm losing money and achievement if I'm winning on a very small account. Now that did show up in this week just gone, where I was basically trying to make up for the earlier losses. So I'd done very well up to around day 20, 25, and then I took some bad trades against things I'd even said I shouldn't do, and lost almost all of the profits I'd made. So that not only meant that I wasn't doing well anymore, I was way behind a schedule of 1% per day. So I began taking risks at the beginning of this week, and you'll see that as I go through the trades here. So my week started with this yen trade, and it went against me, but you can also see that the volume was way too high for a balance of only around $120 I had in the account at this stage. And the volume was part of that panic trading that I was doing, trying to make up the earlier losses. And the result was exactly the opposite of what I wanted. So you can see that because I'm trying to trade too much, as soon as things went bad, I just lost a lot. And in fact, this loss of $19 took me almost back to my starting deposit of only $100. So then I backed off the volume and took it back to my 2% risk type volume. And the next two trades were a long Aussie CAD and long Aussie US, and the price immediately went against me when I took out the trades, and a little bit more panic came in then because the unrealized loss on these was actually taking me below my original deposit. And so I closed those two trades out for a loss, which actually did take me below my deposit, and that was a mistake to close that. That was a panic closure, and I should have held that, because you can see later in the same day I took the same two trades again. The entry price for those two trades was actually higher than the earlier entry price, so those two symbols had made up the losses that I had already incurred, and if I just held on to those earlier trades, I wouldn't have made these losses. And then both of these trades went on to close later in the day for a profit. Now these profits did make up for the earlier losses, but if I could have avoided those losses, I would have been even further in front. Next day, so this was Wednesday, I took another Aussie US trade and a dollar CAD trade. Now the dollar CAD closed out the same day for a profit, so that went well. That was a buy trade on that. The Aussie trade didn't go so well, and the price actually went against me on this short trade, even though all the indicators of the long-term direction and following the highs and lows said that I should be selling Aussie US. The trade went against me. And you can see I didn't close this out until the next day. So the next day, on the 13th, I took out this trade to average in. It's still a 0.02 volume, so I'm not martingaling this. It's the same size. But I took out that trade, and that closed at a profit. And that profit offset the loss that I made on this trade at $2.70. So not a big profit there, but it did average out. So the direction was right, and in fact it went on later to make even more profit, but I'd set the target and it just closed out there. Also on Thursday I took out this dollar yen short trade, which again was the wrong choice, and I realized that and closed it out. Then I also took out a dollar yen long trade, which was the right choice, although I didn't close it out same day. It went against me a little, so despite long being the right direction, it went against me, and then on the next day I took out another trade to average in, and in this case both of those trades closed out at a profit, so I made a good total profit on that one trade. And to round out the week, I took this one Aussie US trade and didn't hold it open for too long, closed it out for a very tiny profit, mainly so that I could just be square for the weekend. Altogether for the week, I lost $8, and that's mainly due to this one trade at the beginning of the week. So I'm now working to make up the losses that I've got so far and get myself further in front and try to get to that average 1% per day, but we'll see how we go. Now for the something extra, and this is how to grow your small account into millions in only a few months, or how to succeed at trading without really trying. And this came about because after my first post of these small account videos, there was a comment that sent a link to a video from someone else showing them turning a $100 account into millions in a short time. So I'm going to show you how I would go about that. I haven't exactly turned my account into millions, but you can see where it's progressing. I also didn't spend a lot of time on this and in making the video, so you'll see some rough parts, but I think you'll get the idea what I'm doing here, and then when I've shown it, I'll explain how I did this. Now, I didn't go all the way into the millions, as I said, but you'll see how this is working. So I've started my journey. You can see the starting balance there at $100. That was my deposit. I've got one trade on. This is the first day, and it's already showing a good profit of $62.70. Still holding this trade. I'm up to $107.95 in profit, so it's looking very good for me at the moment. Now here I am at day 2. I closed out yesterday's trades. You can see that I have a balance of $209, so I made more than 100% profit in just one day. And today's looking good. In fact, it's looking so good, I've taken a second trade out here. It's only the beginning of that, but it's already showing a profit. And here I am at the close of day 2, and my balance is now $278.70. So 178% profit in only 2 days. Day 3, and my profit now $462. And here are the trades that I've taken in just that 3 days. My initial balance, $100. I made a profit of $109, $15.40, $50.60, so not quite as good on day 2, but you can't really complain about that. And then a big profit, $187.20 on day 3. So altogether, $462.20. And you're probably wondering how I can do this and blah, 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 and all the patter that goes along with trying to tell you that you should like and subscribe or buy something from me. At this point though, seriously, you should like and subscribe this channel. What can it hurt you? And it does help me. Now, it just happens that in this few days, gold had a bull run and all of the winning trades are long, as you can see from this last screenshot. But it doesn't have to be like that. And none of the images that I used are photoshopped. They're all genuine shots from my phone. And that's important, taking the shots from my phone. You see, the MT5 app and the MT4 app on the phone doesn't show you the account number or if this is a live or a demo account when you look at these screens. So all I did on day 1 was open 4 demo accounts with $100 each. I traded long on 2 and short on 2. And I let them run until the losers blew up the accounts, and then I closed out the winning trades on the others. In day 2, I opened another 2 accounts to make up for the 2 that I'd blown up the day before. If you open a demo account, there's a box where you select how much to start with, and it's got a drop down and it'll show numbers like 1,000, 10,000, 50,000 and so on. But you can actually type in any amount that you like there. So I just entered the closing balance from the 2 remaining winning accounts. So now I have 4 accounts again with a starting balance that's the same for the second day, and it's about double what I started with because I've made all that profit on the 2 winning accounts. And then once again, I go long on 2 and short on 2. And to mix it up, I took the 2 that were winning from yesterday and I went long on one and short on the other. And then I also went long and short on the 2 new accounts. To make it look more realistic, later in that day, I opened more trades in the same direction as the trades I already had on, because it can't hurt. If those accounts are going to win, they're just going to win more. If they're going to lose, they're just going to lose more. And then I just wait for an account to blow up again, and I closed everything that was left. I actually used a quick and dirty Python script to do that, so it was just watching all 4 of those accounts, and as soon as any trade closed, it would just close all the remaining trades. And then day 3, same again. Open 2 new accounts, long and short on 2 accounts each way. Now in this case I was a bit lucky because I had one account that had won all 3 days. It's entirely possible that after 3 days none of the original accounts would still be running, and that I would have to pick an account that had only been created on day 2 or day 3. And because I was just doing this quickly to demonstrate how the technique works, I didn't want to waste time on it too much. But there is a way that I would do this if I really wanted to convince you that I could make this kind of trade happen. And what I would do in that case is, on Monday or Sunday, I would open 32 accounts. 32 accounts means that on Monday I would lose 16, 8 on Tuesday, 4 on Wednesday, 2 on Thursday, and 1 on Friday, leaving one account that had survived the entire week. That way I can show an entire week of trading results to you on this final screen. And if each week I have to start again, you won't notice that I'm starting with a new balance because I'll have enough trades on there to hide the balance at the beginning of the week. So after week 1 I have 1 account left. At the beginning of week 2 I open another 31 accounts with the same balance and just go again. Now if you do the math on this, and if I'm letting accounts run until they blow up, it means that I'm losing about 100% of each of those accounts. And that also means at the same time I'm making about 100% on the accounts that are surviving. So over 5 days, I'll make approximately 32 times my original investment. So after the first week, given that there's going to be some slippage and some commissions to pay and so on, I expect that I would be up by around $3,000. And at the end of week 2, I'll be up by 32 times that. And at the end of week 3, 32 times that. So you can see how you get to millions of dollars very quickly. But it's all fake. Now, I'm not saying that anyone who has videos showing enormous profits is fake. I'm just saying this is how I would do it if I wanted to convince you. And that's all I have on my trading update for this week. Sorry I am late, but I hope this little bit at the end has made up for that. And I'll be back again next week to let you know how I am at the end of day 45. Remember, click the like button, subscribe, and click the bell icon to be notified when I release more videos. Thank you for watching.